Hi, everybody. Sam Kouvaris in the Nimnicht Sports Update. The Jaguars finished 8-8 after a 34-17 loss to the Houston Texans, despite the fact that they tied the game at 17 and then immediately gave up a field goal, and the entire second half belonged to Houston. They lost 34-17. It felt like one of those 55-10 games. The Jaguars never felt like they were ever in it. There were at least two things that were so disappointing about this year. One is the fact that they're 8-5 and a chance to win the division by beating Indianapolis and can't kind of muster that kind of challenge that you would have hoped that the team could do. And also, Jack Del Rio said he was going to try to retool the defense this year after last year's 0-4 collapse in the last quarter of the season, and they did no such thing. They were as inept as they were last year. I understand that you can't kind of produce players out of thin air, but nonetheless, they just didn't get the job done. Obviously, the Aaron Campman injury hurt them, but Tyson Alualu was maybe a little less than expected. Kirk Morrison certainly didn't light a fire under anybody as the middle linebacker for the Jaguars, and that's one place that they seriously have to improve. You can go from top to bottom on the team and decide where you're going to need help: wide receiver, linebacker, safety, cornerback, quarterback. And what about the head coach? Del Rio is one game over 500, 66 and 65 in his career with the Jaguars. And is it a fact that there is a shelf life for coaches in the National Football League? Throw into the fact that he's owed at least $10 million by Wayne Weaver under the current contract, and the collective bargaining agreement ends on March the 4th, and it's a very complex decision. Plus, who's out there who's going to take this job and excite people or do a better job than maybe Weaver thinks Del Rio can do with this current group of players? Something will follow, obviously, as it goes on. Something will happen early this month, no doubt about that. I'm Sam Kouvaris with the Nimnicht Sports Update. You can follow us streaming on 1010xl.com every day from 10 to 11:30 and here during the newscast at news4jax.com.